the sector spotlight, kind of. It's more like earnings aftermath.
Yes.
We want to start with Amazon, rebounding almost 8% since it reported. Is this the time to buy? Have you proven yourself now?
Well, yesterday was nuts in Amazon. Actually, the after hours, Amazon hit like 155. A lot of people thought because they missed their earnings, they weren't going to give it a pass because they, increased their expenses for expansion. But the stock told a different story. It opened only down $2, and then fast money traders went after it when it went above the technical level. So if you look at Amazon here, it was unbelievable yesterday. It opened right around this resistance, traded through this, what I call 188 to 190, that fast money trade, and look at that action at 196. They blew off now 2 quarters in a row where they didn't blow out the street because they're getting set up for the future. So that's interesting to note.
Right, and I want to bring up eBay actually, because if you see this pop in Amazon, I wonder if it's too late to get in. So eBay also reporting yesterday, first quarter profits rose 20%. Now revenue is up 16%, like half of what Amazon was with 38%. But maybe that's a good kind of Me Too, not as fast moving kind of play.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter from institutions about eBay. They've been buying this up ahead of earnings. Technically, the chart looks decent. It's up going into earnings. If it could get above the highs here of 34.77, 35 and hold, it could extend, but it's not going to be as sexy, not as glamorous as an Amazon. But percentage-wise, I think eBay is acting pretty well.
More like the gangly teenager or something. All right, I want to go to Baidu. Really killed it. First quarter profit more than doubling, guided higher for Q2. What was interesting to me is that revenue per online marketing customer was up 50% year on year.
There is growth in
insane.
Baidu. Well, today I'm going to treat this kind of like the Amazon trade, where a lot of people thought that they weren't blockbuster earnings, but there were some good metrics in there. So I'm going to watch the previous highs. So if you look here at Baidu, this is what traders are going to be watching. If Baidu gets above this previous high of 153 to 155, and the shorts are going to get their teeth knocked out. So right now I would think you could trade against here. If it gets above it, you could see a move like we saw in Amazon, but it must get above there and hold. So Baidu, good report. Not sure if it's going to have that Amazon type move. We'll know more once the trading starts after the open.
So really have to watch that one closely. Okay, let's go to Netflix. So down, over 6% since they reported, but did rally 3% yesterday. So does that mean that the market is forgiving?
Well, they're forgiving it. They didn't forgive it as much as Amazon because the day after earnings it was down $22, but it did hold the key moving average. It held the 50-day. So some believing in the long-term story in Netflix, which their earnings were a little muted because of increasing expenses to prepare for the future. It bounced off this 50-day, a different type of trade. We talked about the support. I thought it would get down to, actually it got down pretty much to the area we were talking about, and now we need to see if it gets through these moving averages. I don't think it gets to new highs soon, but a decent buy the dip type of trade.
Okay, so you're going to buy the dip right here?
Not right here.
Okay,
yesterday was a day. I'm flat Netflix,
okay.
But let it build a new pattern, and we'll revisit this in the next few weeks as the pattern looks a little bit more apparent.
All right, let's wrap up this segment with VMware. Second quarter guidance easily surpassed expectations here. So is this the time?
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with VMware and Apple. VMware, good earnings, flagging at the highs. You could be in a tier 1. This needs to get above 98, 99 to get another move. Chart looks good, very sloppy, but as long as it holds this earnings gap, I do think we get another trade above 99 because this group is getting better, and technically this looks okay. Now as far as Apple had a great report. We're now about 4 or 5 days since that report, and it's flagging. It's not leading the market. Typically, I love to see Apple lead the market. It's lagging a little bit, but if you look at this pattern here, I do think the longer it holds, okay, I want to show you this because when Apple moves, you need to be ready for it. As long as it holds these moving averages and goes sideways, you could stay in tier 1, and if it starts getting above this 352, 353, I do think we finally get that new high trade. And when that trade happens, it's exciting. It's good for investors. It's good for trading. Just be prepared. 352, 355, have that in your trading plan for Apple. And now there's some